What is up, everybody? 49's Fine, back at you again today with another precious metals video. And today we need to talk about something that's a little bit serious, and I see it coming in the next few decades, and I think it really needs to be addressed. So let's get into it. Before we go any further, let me explain to everybody this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. So as we get into this, let me just tell everybody this is going to be a long video. So sit back, relax. We have a lot of important things to talk about when it comes to this topic and what it means for the future of silver. So yeah, we're in it for the long haul on this one, guys. Let's get started. So the topic that we're talking about today is precious metals, their demand, and the lack of their demand with the younger generations. I was looking at my analytics the other day, and for those of you that don't have a YouTube channel and you don't upload, you can look at your analytics. You can see obviously how many views your videos are getting. You can see how many likes versus dislikes your videos are getting. You can see how long on average people are watching each video. You can see all different types of demographics. You can see what country people are mostly watching you from. But the one that stuck out to me the most was the ages that watch this channel. And I'll right out the gate, I'll tell you, it's a little bit alarming what I found. And I didn't take these analytics super seriously when I very first started YouTube, but I've got something like 20 videos out now, so there's plenty of data for YouTube to analyze and kind of give me an accurate reading as to who makes up my audience. So the first thing we'll look at, I printed out some of my analytics here. So this is going to show us our age and gender. The gender part doesn't matter all that much, but the age part is what we're really focusing on here. So as you can see, we are 2% female, 97%, 98% male. As far as the ages go, 13 to 17 years old, 0%. No one is watching videos about precious metals that are under 18 years old at all. That's kind of somewhat maybe expected, and that's fine because this is an extreme. This is very young, so I didn't really expect much there. But moving forward, 18 to 24 years, only 1.2% of my audience is in their early 20s. That's kind of scary. That's a little bit concerning. So let's move on further. 25 to 34 years old, only 14% of my audience is 25 to 34 years old. So right now, we're still only sitting at about 15%. 35 and younger, all the way up from 13 to 35 only comprises 15% of my total audience. What's even more alarming is these ages here are the vast majority of people that watch YouTube. The older generations don't watch YouTube nearly as much as these younger generations. These younger generations are always on their cell phones. They're always on their iPads and tablets or whatever. They're always watching YouTube. And even with the vast majority of YouTube's age demographic being in these ranges, even still, they're still not watching precious metals videos. So they're the most available people on the internet, and they're still not watching. And I'm sure these analytics look very similar to other channels' analytics. Big or small channels, doesn't matter. It's kind of scary to think about. So let's move forward a little further. 35 to 44 years. We're at 22%, which isn't bad. That's not terrible. But we're also, talking about people that are in their middle ages. They're definitely not kids anymore. They have mortgages. They have children of their own. They're, deep in their careers at this point. Moving forward, 45 to 54 years is actually a little bit lower at 19%. I would imagine this is because as we get further down into the ages, as people get older, they're generally not using their cell phones and spending as much time on the internet. And then we move down to 55 to 64 years. People getting very close to retirement age. We're at 23.4%. That's a huge number. And then 65 plus is 20%. So people that are 65 and older are watching precious metals videos more than people that spend way more time. These age groups spend 10 times as much time on the internet, consuming content, watching YouTube, looking at social media, and they're still being beaten by this age demographic that doesn't use this technology nearly as much. That is very alarming to me, because as these ages pass on, what's going to happen to all the precious metals? They're going to be handed down to next of kin, and that's going to be these age groups right here. And they have no idea about any of this stuff. They're not interested in it. They're not educated on it, which means they're probably not going to hold on to it. They're going to start selling. There's going to be entire generations of people that are young right now that when they're handed down all of the precious metals from these age groups, they're going to turn around and they're most likely going to sell it. Because if someone that's 25 to 34 years old right now isn't interested in precious metals, isn't buying precious metals, I don't think there's a huge likelihood that whenever they do get, 20 ounces of grandpa's gold along with his whole briefcase of silver, I'm not very confident that they're going to hold on to it the way grandpa did. And they don't have to, but the reason why this is important is because there's going to come a lot of selling pressure, I feel, in the next couple of decades whenever these generations start handing down all their precious metals. Obviously, the majority of silver's demand is industrial, so that's good. And also, the dollar is always going to constantly be losing value until it finally crashes. That will also help silver, but this is something that is concerning, to say the least. Young people are in an interesting spot because I'll be the first to tell you, being a young person in 2024 that is not fully established yet, that isn't high ranked in their career yet, that doesn't have a bunch of assets that they can call their own, that they have a lot of equity in yet, it's very difficult for young people today to get ahead and get established. That's why a lot of them are not having kids anymore. People aren't having kids until they're in their mid-30s, late 30s now, because the economy, things are so difficult right now. It's very, very hard to be a young person right now. Things aren't the same as what they used to be. Now, with that being said, at the same time that it's very difficult to prosper, young people are making terrible financial decisions left and right anyways. It's very, very common for people my age every morning to go and spend $8.50 getting coffee in the morning before work every single day. That's a lot of money every year. And then they're also the most apt to turn around and buy the newest cell phone, even though they've only had their current cell phone for 12 months. There might not be anything better about that new cell phone. It's only a year apart from the one that they own, but they feel like they have to get the newest thing, and so they do. And they keep spending money on things that don't actually hold any value. So it's interesting to watch. I see both sides of it. I see young people complaining about how difficult and hard it is to get established in today's day and age, which is true. It is very difficult. But then at the same time, I see young people making horrible decisions all the time, and they don't care. They don't care that they're making these bad decisions. And I don't make this video out of selfish means at all. I don't care. I think it's kind of cool that I'm connecting with an audience that is older and has more knowledge than I do. I think that's really cool. It wouldn't bring me any joy in regards to the performance of my channel if young people started watching. My concern is that in the future, the young people of today won't have any way to hedge themselves against inflation, and they won't have any stores of value to protect them throughout time, especially with a digital dollar right around the corner. It's a scary thing to think about, but the numbers don't lie. But on the flip side of that, there is a silver lining to this. I do see a lot of stacking channels coming out of the woodwork that haven't been around for very long. Mine, for example, has only been around for a couple of months. I see other stacking channels that have only been around for a year or less than a year. That's a good sign that this is kind of starting to become more popular on the internet. YouTube channels like Yankee Stacking, Empire, Silver Dragons, of course, they make very engaging content and they're reaching a broader audience, which is really good. And that's a part of the reason that I make these videos. I want to try to reach as many people as I can and explain the benefits of all of this. With that being said, as important as I think stacking is, in regards to young people do need to focus on income growth, not just wealth preservation. This is wealth preservation. There's a longtime subscriber. He was one of my first subscribers. His name is J Bar. He comments on a lot of my videos. I always like talking to him. He stated on one of my videos that young people don't necessarily need to focus super hard on stacking, and they don't need to focus super hard on wealth preservation. They need to more so focus on wealth growth. You know, establishing yourself in an industry, attaining a higher income, a higher salary, getting a hold of real estate. They need to focus on wealth growth more so than wealth preservation. And while I agree with that, that is true. At the same time, if you've got a certain amount of money past your emergency fund that's just going to sit in your savings account, you need to do something with it. There's no point in just leaving it sitting there. And young people also have to understand that they can't just go around buying $8 or $9 coffees all the time and wasting their money on things that don't actually hold any value. As difficult as economic times are right now, we need every little bit of money that we can get our hands on, and we need to put it in good places. And I think there's a lot of money that the young people in this country are leaving on the sidelines, at least here in the United States, that could be put in better places. It just pains me to see with how difficult everything is nowadays, with the economy and how expensive everything is. People are having to reevaluate their retirement fund and everything, and they're getting scared. We have all these young people that haven't even built a retirement fund, that are spending $8 every morning at Starbucks, and they have the nicest phone, and they keep getting new cars. What I would stress to everybody is pick a couple of the YouTube channels that you think are the most engaging and the most entertaining, and show it to the younger people in your family. Let them know about it. Let them know about this way of life, this hobby. You know, show them your pieces if you're open to doing that. You know, show them, you know, what a difference between a round and a coin is, and the history behind them, and explain to them the appreciation. Let them hold it in their hands, and so they can feel the weight of real value, of real money. Kind of spread the word, you know. That's what we need. We need to connect with these younger generations, because as we move towards a digital dollar, the ability to hold things in your hand that are worth something are going away. 20 years ago, whenever you wanted to watch movies, you would go buy a DVD at Walmart or a store somewhere, and you would have that DVD forever. That's your movie now. Now it's just streaming services. Barely anyone. DVD sales are almost non-existent at this point. Same thing with buying a house. Getting a hold of a house nowadays is very difficult. It's a very hard thing to do. We're the future generations, I'm almost certain, are going to be generations of renters that never own any real estate. And that's really scary, because when you don't own your own home, and your currency is something digital that you can't hold in your hand, you don't really have much control over your situation if you can't actually hold and feel anything that you own that holds value. And that's what these younger generations desperately need. Anybody can save up and get an ounce every paycheck of silver. And I think it's very important that we do that. If you've got family that's younger, let them know about this stuff. Show them your favorite YouTube channels. You know, get them in on this. It's very fun. It's very addicting. It's very satisfying. It can teach you how to save and look out for yourself in the future. There's a ton of benefits to this. You know, it's good to go get your college degree and get a good salary and establish yourself that way. But you also need to preserve wealth on the side at the same time. And silver and gold is an excellent way to do that. So anyways, guys, I hope that wasn't too serious of a video. I just really wanted to talk about that with y'all. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Give your family members a call. Say, hey, come check out these cool pieces I have, and maybe give them one or two to get them started. Bite them with the silver bug. Anyways, guys, I'll see y'all in the comments. Peace.